Okay, so I did a video about Metallica earlier, and it got a fair number of views. So I'll tell the story of how I really found out about Metallica, and then from that point on, my metalhead journey. Not that I really want to identify as anything, including a metalhead, but I have my metal credentials for the most part. So I guess when I was in fifth grade, I was kind of a lame in a lot of ways, and this was around like 91, 92. I guess fifth grade was the end of 91 and the beginning of 92, and I was 11, going on 12, and I just started really hearing the name Metallica. I was like, oh, well, that sounds cool, that sounds groovy. I mean, you got to be a heavy metal band with a name like Metallica. And of course, I saw kids at Great Adventure with the "Metal Up Your Ass" T-shirts, and I'm like, well, that's kind of cheeky. That's kind of cool. I mean, guy's sitting on a toilet and he gets a blade shoved up his ass. So I saw those Metallica shirts, and I guess there was maybe the beginning of 1992. I started seeing Metallica videos on MTV. And really the ones I saw the most were the videos for Nothing Else Matters and Wherever I May Roam. And both of those videos are very, very tame. Nothing Else Matters especially so. It was just the guys, hanging out in the studio, hanging out with their families, acting goofy, joking around with each other. And it's kind of a a sensitive song. You think, oh, this is the girl, this is the kind of girl that James is describing here. If he is describing a girl, this is I guess Metallica does love songs. If he's describing a girl, well, this is the kind of girl you really want, the girl you feel you're always connected to. And so it's a sweet love song, and these are a bunch of good guys, and they're hanging out in the studio and joking around with each other and spending time with mom and pops. So I saw Nothing Else Matter. I'm like, yeah, these Metallica guys, I think they're good guys. And then Wherever I May Roam, that was a little heavier. But like the same thing, there was nothing really too shocking or disturbing about that video. It was basically just them playing live shows in various arenas across the country, and they even had the cliche shot, the well-known cliche shot of the band after they've given their all on stage. They're in they're backstage afterward, and they're just relaxing. The guys just taking it like in Bon Jovi's "Wanted Dead or Alive" video. I mean, James is taking a shower. He's got like a towel wrapped around his head like a woman would because they have such long hair. Kirk is chilling out. Maybe one guy's having a beer. Nothing wrong with a beer here or there. And I'm like, oh, okay, these guys are cool. They tour around the country. They play, some kind of heavy music, but nothing too scary. See, because I kind of grew up. Not only do I have OCD, but I grew up kind of during the Satanic Panic. And though I wasn't raised in a very Christian or Catholic household, I sort of was like, oh, well, all these people in the media are saying these bands are dangerous. So I better watch out. I better be careful. I don't want to get sucked into anything I can't get out of. So I got to make sure the bands I listen to, that they're decent guys. They're not going to try to get me to worship Satan and sacrifice the neighbor's German Shepherd. Okay. So I was like, okay, these Metallica guys are okay. They're all right. It's popular music, a little bit heavy. So then Enter Sandman was also out at the time, and Enter Sandman, that one disturbed me a little bit. I was like, this one's a little too much. There's some disturbing imagery. I mean, there's the old man sitting in the corner, and then there's the kid with the snakes all over his chest. And I mean, just think of the child actor. Seriously though, let me take a break from this little gag here. Think of the child actor who had to have a whole bunch of snakes crawling on his chest. I mean, how did the casting director play that one off? Ma'am, we would love to cast your son for this new Metallica video. Is he okay with snakes? We're just gonna have about 50 fucking snakes crawl on his fucking chest. Oh yeah, my son is fine with that, Mr. Casting Director. Please sign him up. We need the money. Sign him up. You can put snakes on his face. You can put snakes on his chest. The snakes can wrap around his neck. And then, how do the casting directors find the old man? They go to some casting director in New York or LA, and they're like, oh, we need a creepy old man to just sit in a chair and watch snakes crawl all over this 12-year-old boy. Can we find somebody for that? Why, you work with senior citizen actors, huh? Huh, Mabel? Mabel, why don't you call up that senior citizens group, We need a creepy old man to watch a bunch of snakes crawl over a 12-year-old boy's face. So yeah, I enter Sandman with my OCD and with my anxiety over being led astray by dangerous rock and roll music was a little bit disturbing to me. But still, I let it slide. I was like, okay, well, still, video's a little scary, it's a little spooky, and he even says that creepy prayer that some of us said, like, now I lay me down to sleep, pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I die before I wake, pray the Lord my soul to take. What a creepy fucking prayer. What a great prayer to say before bed. Well, the creepiness is, I'm sure, why Metallica put that in their song. But, I was like, oh, this is a little blasphemous. I don't know. To have this prayer in the middle of a heavy metal song with loud heavy metal guitars. So, and then of course the Unforgiven, I was like, that was really, I started to find that contaminating, because OCD people have this thing called emotional contamination, where certain things are emotionally contaminating to them, like certain images, certain people, certain smells, I notice a lot of people with OCD do not like the band Tool, because Tool uses images that are very disturbing to OCD people and feel very contaminating to OCD people, very spiritually and emotionally contaminating to OCD people. So anyway, Enter Sandman and The Unforgiven were emotionally contaminating, but I wasn't going to just outright hate Metallica and accuse them of being German Shepherds sacrificing Satan worshippers or anything. So I went into 6th grade and I hit puberty and I totally changed. I became a badass. But my main band was Guns N' Roses. And some people consider them too soft, like, oh, Guns N' Roses is too soft. But I liked Axl's rebellious attitude. I liked the whole rebellious attitude, because I was feeling very rebellious. And then I was talking to this kid in school, and the only videos I knew of from Metallica were Enter Sandman and Unforgiven, which were a little bit scary and emotionally contaminating, and Nothing Else Matters, which is a real groovy, nice video with a bunch of Metallica acting like a bunch of good old guys. And then, of course, Wherever I May Roam, which wasn't frightening because it was just them playing on stage in front of various crowds in various cities. But then some kid was like, did you ever see the video for Metallica's One? I'm like, no, I didn't know they had any other videos. I didn't know they had any other videos than what I just mentioned. And this kid was too afraid to watch it, so he had to turn it off every time the video came on. So he's like, well, if you want to watch it, if you really want to do that to yourself, they usually play it on Headbangers Ball. So I was like, okay, well, this Saturday I'll stay up late and I'll see if I can catch this video on Headbangers Ball. And of course I went and watched it on Headbangers Ball, and it traumatized me. It was so creepy and terrifying. And then I developed a phobia of that video, and I wasn't able to watch it again for many, many, many years. And I'm like, how do people watch this video and stay calm? How do people watch this video and not become frightened? How do people watch this video and actually watch it a second time? How can people just sit here? Maybe some guy is falling asleep right now. He's dozing off to Metallica's One video about a gravely wounded World War I soldier who had his face and arms and legs blown off and lost all of his senses except for touch. Yeah, how can anybody be like, oh yeah, there were guys like, Metallica sold out, man. I only found about this later because they were known for not doing videos. Like, Metallica sold out, man. They did a video. I'm like, well, doing a video like that is not really selling out. Doing a video like that is traumatizing people. It's hitting people's minds with blunt force trauma. So I developed a huge phobia of that video, and Metallica as a band entirely became emotionally contaminated after that. But then the next year I was friends with this kid who was kind of a juvenile delinquent. He introduced me to and I had no idea. I thought the Black Album was their only album. I thought there was only the Black Album until I saw the One video, and there was the Injustice for All album. And then next year, my friend introduced me to all of their albums, and I started really kind of listening to them religiously, even though I still had a phobia of the One video. I started, basically I became the angry white male metalhead, just sitting in my room all day, just blasting heavy metal music, just blasting Metallica, all day, every day, just blasting heavy metal music, angry, disenfranchised white male. And I did that until I knew for sure that Metallica had sold out in the mid-90s, when they cut their hair and tried to be all commercial and change their image and get the next audience they could get. And then I was like, okay, well, they obviously are divided into sell out Metallica and pre-sell out Metallica, and I only listen to pre-sell out Metallica, which I think their last authentic album was the Black Album. I will not listen. I'm dogmatic about this. I will not listen to anything past the Black Album. But anyway, isn't it hilarious that 91, 92, I thought they only had one album, and it was the Black Album, and they didn't have any videos or anything else about them. That was way too disturbing. I had no idea that they'd been around since 1983 and had released numerous albums before the Black Album. But I found out the easy way, the hard way, and then I became a metalhead. And then, of course, that leads into other bands like Pantera, Slayer, Megadeth, etc. So that's my Metallica journey.